What is up, guys? Here to break down the EPL slate for today. What's up, Travis? Ready to hop in here. We got some early games going. We had 2 this morning instead of the 1. Unfortunately, I don't think DFS, I threw one lineup in, is going very well for me this morning. I went a little heavier on Chelsea, and they've been dominated possessionally and haven't been able to muster anything up so far. Still 20 minutes left, I think. So we'll see if they can pull out a draw or something here. But I think this is going to be a fun show. Going to give a couple minutes for guys to get in here. But with lineups now out, you're going to go through the sheet with me. I'll be updating the sheet as we go. With lineups, I'll be able to talk through any changes in the lineups and how that affects the way that I'm thinking about it. And then I'll obviously get into building a little bit as well closer to the end of the show. So this is going to be a fun one. Really excited to be able to do a show with lineups out and let you guys know how I'm going about that, updating these. So hop over to the sheet. Our first game up is Norwich and Everton, and I'm going to pull the odds up because I did not update them right before I hopped on. And this is kind of going to be a more freelance type video with just things happening in real time. So Everton is a minus 135 favorite, not minus 155 now. Plus 400 is Norwich. So let me go to the odds tab, and I'm going to update those real quick. And I'm going to stay on here for probably 45 minutes. I mean, I'll give a few minutes for you all to build after the show, or you can build while we're on here. And I'm going to be looking down at my phone quite a bit, using that to update the lineups. West Ham is the next game. They're plus 150 against Leeds, who's plus 175. And I've not looked at any lineups yet. I know some just came out, but that is a game that I'm definitely going to be interested in seeing the lineup for Leeds. Quite a bit of question marks there. Burnley is plus 400 against a minus 150 Leicester, and that's a minus 0.75 spread, and the total in that one's 2.5. Newcastle is plus 255 against Watford's plus 110, and that's still the same, 2.5. Okay, so the odds are updated now on the sheet. So let's hop back over to the lineups tab, and we're going to go through these. So these are the projected lineups in there. I'm going to pull up Everton and Norwich. I use SofaScore for lineups. They post them right at 9 o'clock or right at 1 hour before kick. I know some place you can find the lineups probably 5 minutes, maybe 10 earlier if you search Twitter or something like that. But we're going to go through here. So Pookie, Josh Sargent. Oh, darn. Rashika is not in, and it's Josh Sargent. Never know if DK has Joshua or Josh. It's Joshua. Okay. Definitely not as good a play as I was hoping for with Milot Rashika. Let's see. And he is out as well. That would be Kenny Mclean. A little rotation from what I was expecting here. And no Billy Gilmore either. So that took all of what I was hoping for to play with Norwich away. And that is Matthias Norman at 4,500, and I just need to do some name match updates after I go through here for Sargent and Norman to get their stats pulling in. Brandon Williams, Max Aarons, Kabak, Hanley, Ben Gibson, Tim Krul. So the rest of that's right, but that took away quite a bit from Norwich. I was interested in getting Rashika or Billy Gilmore in there, not an option now. On the other side, Rondon is going to start. Townsend, Iwobi, Gray, Allen, Decore. Dean is getting the start. That was one thing I was watching. Mina, Keane, Pickford. So that's exactly how it was predicted. and it still stays the same there. So in this game, Andros Townsend looked to take sets, a bigger set share, even away from Lucas Dean there in their last match. 10-7 is expensive, but he's definitely in play for me. One of the top options. We don't have any big name, I guess, well-known name guys on this slate. So Townsend, a guy that I think is going to start getting sets. He's very active. Is a very good play. Damari Gray, 8,400, is also in play. We know where we've seen how he can create for himself. And then Lucas Dean, even with just a share of sets, I think is in play as well at defender, 6,400. This is a good matchup against Norwich. He's going to have some open play crossing and ability there. So obviously on the Everton side a bit more. And I'm going to come back to the Norwich side after I finish these lineups. I really initially don't have any interest in anybody, but we'll see if I can change that. It looks like Kenny Mclean took one cross. I'm going to update the stats to see if Norman or Sargent have done so. Moving on to the next one, Leeds and West Ham. West Ham is a plus 150, slight favorite there. And let's see what these lineups are. So Antonio is in, Jared Bowen is in, Ben Rama is in, Fornals, Souček, Declan Rice, Cresswell, Kufal. So this is exactly how it was predicted. So my thoughts stay the same there. Again, this is a good matchup in an open game that I expect for West Ham here against Leeds. Cresswell and Kufal are fine plays at defender. It looks like Kufal on the year has the more open play value, whereas Cresswell has more of a set share, splitting with Jared Bowen. So both of those are fine plays. Antonio is priced down a little bit from what he had been, so I think he is also very in play. And let's look at the other side. That's the one that we wanted to see, and it is okay. So Rafinha is in, which is good because I really wanted to play Rafinha. Tyler Roberts is not in, so I'm going to put in Rafinha. I spelled that wrong. We get Rafinha, and he quickly becomes one of the top options for me at 9,100. He'll be the first guy I slot in to my. I'm running one lineup today in single entry GPPs. He'll be the first one in. Rodrigo is in. Daniel James is in. Somerville is not in. He started midweek in their EFL Cup game, so that will be Jamie Shackleton. Click, Calvin Phillips, Stuart Dallas, Firpo, Charlie Cresswell, Liam Cooper, Ian Meslier. So things did change a little bit. We get Rafinha, and he quickly, like I said, became a top option. I think Daniel James is viable coming over from Man U. I think he is also, let's see, Stuart Dallas is viable in this matchup. I think this is a good GPP stack-up game. Click and Calvin Phillips are also fine. Not anything spectacular, but Click has had some games here and there. I think Rodrigo is also GPP viable. So that was a team that I was very interested in. I did not like the lineup. Still is missing Bamford, obviously. But we get Rodrigo up front, and flanked should be by Rafinha and Daniel James. Let me look at that's kind of how it looks. So that's kind of where I'm going. Cresswell, this is his first time stepping on the pitch for EPL this year. I see that on Sofa Score, so he has no stats, but he's a center back, so we're not going to be playing him anyway. Let's see. So, yeah, I really like this game now. Now that we get Rafinha, you can run it back on the other side with Antonio. Don't like either of the goalkeepers, obviously, if I think this game kind of shoots up a little bit. If you all have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat as I go. I'll definitely get to them. Good luck today, John. Rashika is on the bench, apparently, for Norwich. So He could sub in, but obviously we're not playing him from the bench. So Leicester and Burnley is the next one. Leicester is a minus 150 favorite. Let's see. I seriously doubt we see much rotation from where we had these lineups. Looks like Vidra is going to start up front. White McNeil is in. Okay, so this is going to be Maxwell Cornet. Can't say I've seen that name before, so that should be interesting. I probably won't be going there. Ashley Westwood, Josh Brownhill, Charlie Taylor, Lowton, Ben Mee, and Tarkowski, and Nick Pope. So Cornet has played this year in EPL, but he falls into that category. I need to do a quick name match as soon as we get done. Going through lineups, Jamie Vardy, Lookman, Harvey Barnes, James Madison is not in. Okay. He has been dreadful from a DFS perspective, really, to start the year anyway. But that price was intriguing a little bit. Tielemans, Ndidi. Let's see. So this is Ricardo Pereira. And we get Bertrand, Vestergaard, Soyuncu, and Schmeichel. So, man, I got a few about 4 name matches to do to get these stats pulling in so far. Bertrand and Tielemans in this one should share sets for Leicester. I think they're fine options. I think Jamie Vardy is fine in GPPs. He's not one that I'm going to be keen on slotting in early in my lineups. I would really only get to him if I was doing 20 max. That's really, I don't love this game overall. Dwight McNeil on the other side is probably the top option at 7,500 for Burnley. I suppose Ashley Westwood, you could play him, who will have a share of sets, doesn't do a whole lot in open play. So really, in this game, the really only 2 things that I'm going to be doing is Yuri Tielemans or Ryan Bertrand. I think both of those make quite a bit of sense. Let's see. So last game, we got Watford and Newcastle. This is an interesting one for me. I think I'm going to have some interest on Watford's side. Let's see. So Joe Linton is in. St. Maxim. Almiron, Longstaff. Willock is not Ryan Frazier. All right. Isaac Hayden. So Richie, Manquillo, Fernandez, Clark, Darlow. Yeah, so not a ton of swapping there. So for Newcastle, it stays the same for me. Matt Ritchie does quite a bit in open play, gets most all of the set pieces for Newcastle. I know they're dogs, but this is not the best matchup, but it's viable that we can play Matt Ritchie at defender at 5,400. Really, the only other options is St. Maximum in GPPs at 8,300, and maybe Almiron at 5,200. But really, I don't like much else on Newcastle. On the other side, Joshua King is starting, Manuel Dennis, Sarr, and Cleverly, thank goodness. Soko Kaka, and I'm going to butcher all these names as we go through. Yeah, so no changes for Watford, so that's good. Definitely interested in Ismail Sarr. He is 10,000, which is quite priced up. But this guy, we've seen what he can do in open play. He does not have a share of set pieces for Watford, but just provides such a floor with his open play, his shots, crossing, goals. We know what he can do there. So 10,000 is high, but I think he's viable. Tom Cleverly should have most of the set pieces for them at 5,300, and I think he is viable as well if you need kind of that mid-range midfield spot. So let me knock out these name matches really quick. Maxwell Cornet. Let's see if you all had any questions. Not so far. So got through those pretty quick. Okay. This is the fun part of you getting to see the back end of these sheets and how they work with these name matches. But sometimes it can get annoying. Sometimes it's fine. So we got Cornette coming in there, and he's popping in 29 base projection. It's probably because he's played 10 minutes this year. So no real interest in, and took a shot, and it was on goal. So not interested in Maxwell Cornette there at all. Thought I had Samare in there, but I do not. And I think he's one that has like an accent over his name. So gonna have to go. Yep. I'm gonna talk to myself probably some here. Samare. Okay. Yep, that was it. Got the accent over the E there. And now my computer is being very slow. All right. I really hope it's not frozen. So, all right. So we got Samare. No real interest in him either. And then the other two that I needed to knock out were on Norwich, Josh Sargent. And Matthias Norman. And it looks like the stats site has Josh Sargent, as DK does not. So let's see if that popped them in. Okay, I don't know what they have Josh Sargent as. And it looks like Aston Villa has just knocked one off Man U. That's okay, so it looks like it's in there. That's interesting. Might be the first loss for Ronaldo with Man U, or back with Man U. So that is interesting. Looks like the sheet's good to go. So I've got, let me mark the starters there, but stats-wise, everything is fed in. Let me knock these out. All right, we got the starters marked. I'm going to go through and sort out all the non-starters, and then I'm going to kind of go back through and we'll play with some builds and things like that. Trying to see who scored in this for Aston Villa. Probably Ings. I'm not watching. Haven't been watching that game at all. So it's probably under review. Assuming I've not got. Maybe it's an own goal. Maybe Tito's own goal is in progress there. Morning, Eric. Pivot and GPP. I'm going to talk about that here in just a second as soon as I get these sorted out, because I'm going to go and play with builds and I'm going to kind of show you what I don't think any team is going to have major ownership today. I think we're going to see it more spread out than we have the last few weeks. We've had these big favorites that just take up all the ownership. I don't think obviously we don't have that today on the main slate, and I don't think you're going to see a bunch of condensed ownership. Like I said, I really like that Leeds game for a GPP stack game. And let's see here. All right, so we're good to go there. I'm going to do my rankings as well as we're on the sheet here in just a bit. But I'm going to go through the builds a bit here. So let me swap over to DK. Oh, it was House. Holy moly. So the center back goal. So I just crapped on the center back one that was in, and we get the center back Courtney House goal. Okay. Morning. Yeah, so hope you all are having a good tournament. Hope that goes well today for your daughter. Tell Chris we all said hello. Wish he could join us today for this and college football. But missed penalty for Man U. Is anybody watching this game? But it seems kind of crazy. Did Ronaldo really just miss a PK? Oh my gosh. Okay, let me swap over to DraftKings. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to go to lineups. And I'm going to create. All right, so let's talk through some of this building here and kind of the route that I'm going to want to take. Like I said, I really like Townsend, but now we have Rafinha in, so I'm prioritizing Rafinha up top, and then I think you got to choose if you want Andros Townsend or do you want to go down to a guy like Ismail Assar for just a few hundred cheaper. Both are over 10K. Wait, Bruno took the penalty? Oh my gosh. All right, I'm missing out on a lot. Bruno took the penalty over Ronaldo? Was Ronaldo out, I hope? Holy moly. Okay. This is crazy. All right. So, like I said, you got to decide if you want Sarr or Townsend, I believe. I think if you were stacking aside, if you were going, I think Everton stack with Dean and maybe Damari Gray, I think you could play Townsend in that type build. I think the route that I'm looking at, well, first off, I think it's Lucas Dean or let's see here. All right. In that game with Antonio on the other side, I think is a very good GPP option. He's 9,300. I don't know if we can jam all this in. I don't know that we have the value. To get in 3 of these top guys. So I think, let's see, Tielemans is 7,400. See, it took away some of this value in the midfield for me as well with Rashika, with let's see, Billy Gilmore. So if you go Daniel James at 4,700, I think is a good option. Cleverly in the midfield, like I said, has a share of sets for Watford. So that gives you a couple kind of mid-value type guys. I still think to get in one of those top ones, you're going to need to punt goalkeeper. And we get one of my favorite ones to punt, which is Burnley. Unfortunately, they're on the road, not at home. But Nick Pope against Leicester. I don't love Leicester here. Let's see. Tim Krul. I mean, we've seen him give up 5 with 0 saves. I don't really love that. So if I'm paying down, it's going to be for Nick Pope. If I'm paying all the way down. If I'm paying up, which I think I'm going to start out with Nick Pope and go from there. If I can get up to somebody else, I will. Stuart Dallas, Lucas Dean. So that we don't have one clear defender that I'm dying to play. I think Ryan Bertrand against Burnley at 4,400, and when he should have a share of sets, I think is a very good option. So I'm trying to fill in the values before I go to get these studs in, because I want to make sure how many I can get in. It's a little tougher today in my eyes to get some of these guys in. Let's see. Man, this Norwich deal. Is Kenny Mclean on sets? I need to find out, because I think if he's on sets, I think he's a very fine option. So Matt Ritchie is kind of the defender that I want to prioritize. I'm going to take Bertrand out for now. If I need the value, I can come back there. But I want to definitely prioritize Matt Ritchie. So if you were playing Matt Ritchie, you could play Carl Darlow as well, and pair him up in GPPs and hope for a little clean sheet bonus. Kind of seeing my head turn a little bit trying to figure out all these the route that I want to take completely. Daniel James is a fine value. I think he can do a lot for this team. Does he go 90 is the question. So I mean, Rodrigo could be a bit safer from playing the entire game perspective, and I think he is here. Maybe he's the second forward spot or midfield for Daniel James. Let's see here. That's kind of the early route that I like. Let me check on something about Kenny Mclean. Trying to see, pulling up our stat site to see kind of in their last games who took corners. I know the sheet doesn't have that. It just has the totals right now. So team trends. Just trying to see if I know Kenny McLean's only took one corner there, but all right. So looks like Rashika Gilmore split. Yeah, there's not much sample here at all. You kind of got to go off of. Let's see. I think McLean is a fine play. I think he just the reason that he is because we don't have Gilmore or take out Daniel James, put McLean in the midfield, or Billy Gilmore, Rashika or Billy Gilmore in. So somebody's got to take these sets, even though they're not going to have many. I think it is going to be Kenny McLean from what the sheet's telling me here. So if we go, let's see here. We got Cleverly, Richie, Pope, Rafinha. So we've got quite a bit of salary. If you go Ryan Bertrand at defender with that build, you got 9,000, 9,100 on the average, and you still can't get up to the double or the 3 pay up route. You kind of got to pick between one of now Sar, Townsend, because if you play Rodrigo, and that's over. You got 12-4, so we would have a place to upgrade, whether that's goalkeeper. But this is kind of a lead stack, and so if I'm doing that, I'm going to be running it back with Mikel Antonio in that type of build. And then you got any defender or any goalkeeper you want to play, and you can probably up Tom Cleverly as well. So Cleverly does have a share of sets, but he's kind of just a floor guy. So if we come down here, if we left Nick Pope, where does that leave us in the midfield? Actually, we could make that work as utility because we could move Antonio to forward and Rodrigo to midfield. So we'd have 8,400 for Damari Gray, Alan St. Maximin, Jared Bowen in that game, as well as a full stack on the Leeds West Ham game. So yeah, I still like that's an awesome range. Yuri Tielemans, Dwight McNeil. That's quite a bit of options there. So Kenny Mclean unlocks quite a bit. Let me see if you all have any questions. Yeah, Matt Ritchie at D. Yeah, definitely he should be the first one in, or at least for me, in a cash single entry type build for sure. Kenny McLean, let's see. I really I want to fit somewhere that value midfield spot for Daniel James. I think he's got some major upside in that game, in this type of matchup, and I think he's a guy that can create on his own. But I don't think we can play 3 Leeds guys. So you'd have to play him over Rodrigo. And I think right now I trust Rodrigo a little bit more, for Leeds with Rafinha. So I like the pairing of Rodrigo and Rafinha, McLean, Matt Ritchie, Nick Pope. And then you kind of just got to decide what you want to do. If you want to pay down a little more in the midfield here, or the utility with Fornals is an option. I feel like he scores every freaking slate he plays. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like he does, but he doesn't. Ryan Bertrand, you could up him if you wanted to as well. If you left, let's see, you wanted to go to Stuart Dallas, Lucas Dean, Kufal in that game, Cresswell. So if you go Cresswell, you got 7,300. Oh man, missed 100 by Yuri Tielemans. That sucks. But maybe that's an option where you kind of go down and you play. Well, actually, instead of Cresswell, if you play Vladimir Kufal, then you can play Yuri Tielemans. So I really like that build. Kind of get a lot that I like with the open play value of Kufal, and then to Antonio. So you got that pairing, and then you got Rodrigo, Rafinha, and then you got some guys wrapped around. Richie has a very nice floor and upside. McLean, we're kind of playing to fit everything in. We're hoping for 5-6 DK from him. And then you got Tielemans, who in this matchup, I know we're playing Pope, but he's assumed to be on set pieces, or at least a share, and have more of the open play value for Leicester. So I think if there's no other questions, that does it for me. You can kind of see the core that I'm building around, and it's going to be this here. I'm going to take out Antonio from the core and Kufal, since that's kind of where I went there, the route that I was looking at. So that would be my core: Rafinha, Rodrigo, McLean, Richie, and Nick Pope. Like I said, if you can upgrade Nick Pope, go for it. If not, I don't think Nick Pope's going to hurt you today. I don't think he gives up 4 without having some saves. So he might give up 1 or 2. I think he can get 4 or 5 saves, and you'll be fine at 3,700 as the cheapest goalie on the slate. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to hop off here. There actually is another show that I'll be doing for college football, and that'll be coming up at 10:30, so about an hour from now. Got a few things to finish up there. Obviously, get through Locke in the chat. If you've not joined us over at Patreon and got access to the sheets, be sure to do so. It's, as you can see, going across the bottom, $10 for one sport, $20 for all sports. We also have a partnership with Prize Picks. Use the promo code Jaeger, get 100% match bonus up to $100. Chris does a lot of that with MLB and NFL, I believe, as well. So I would do more of it, but I'm in Virginia where they do not allow me to play. So also, our last partnership that I'm going to push out there to you all is Fanshare Sports. Also, promo code Jaeger. That is an awesome one for NFL. Tomorrow, they have ownership projections. They have an optimizer that is very nice. We've wanted to partner with somebody that has an optimizer for quite some time to have access to you all. So you all can get 20% off your subscription using the promo code Jaeger, which is a very good deal for them. So be sure to check that out as well. Yeah, no problem, Eric and Travis and Matt. I want to get some feedback. If you enjoyed the video, let me know. Being an hour before lock, I feel like I was kind of all over the place, but I feel like I was able to talk myself through the route that I wanted to get to pretty nicely. And I think that really helps you all to be able to see how I think about each game. So good luck to everybody today. I will be, like I said, back on in an hour. The link is already up for the college football show. Let's have a big day, everybody. Good luck.